906 Outdoors is brought to you in part by Cooking Wild Seasonings. Make it fresh, make it yours. Get yours today at cookingwildseasonings.com. Welcome to the special Memorial Day edition of 906 Outdoors. Today's show includes no fishing or hunting, no camping or traveling. Instead, today's show is about those who paid for the freedom to do these things. To do as we please, not as we're allowed. Memorial Day is the day when we proudly honor our veterans who have passed away. The word veteran carries along with it so much more than a record of service. It signifies someone who has experienced war, the horrors, the fears, death, and the courage it took in spite of all that to stand firm. They sacrificed everything for you and I, for not only their children, but for ours as well, for their brothers in arms, and for freedom. They put their lives on the line as payment, and each one of us owe it to our veterans and our servicemen, to our children and ourselves, to stand up against anyone who tries to take away what they paid for. A half a dozen years ago, I had the honor to travel to Washington, D.C. with a group of veterans on the annual UP Honor Flight. Today, on this special Memorial Day edition of 906 Outdoors, is your opportunity to come along and see what our veterans experience on just such an event. I'm just an average guy from the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. I enjoy being in the woods and on the water, just being in the outdoors. As an American, because I'm an American, I enjoy a unique freedom that allows me to find myself in these special places anytime I want to go there. On this day, I found myself in a very special place. I had the privilege to fly on the same plane and ride on the same bus with some of the actual men and women who, at great personal cost, sacrificed a part of their own lives to secure that special and unique freedom for all of us. I had the honor to stand in front of memorials alongside our veterans as they remembered and paid tribute to their fallen comrades who paid for freedom with their lives. And for me, it's a day I won't soon forget. The UP Honor Flight has flown twice a year since its beginning in September of 2011, making this the 14th such flight. The Honor Flight Network is a non-profit organization created solely to honor America's veterans for all of their sacrifices. The Upper Peninsula Honor Flight is a local hub of the National Flight Network. The mission of this tour of honor is to fly Upper Peninsula World War II, Korean, and Vietnam veterans to Washington, D.C. to experience the memorials that stand in their honor. The trip begins and ends in Escanaba and starts out with an impressive escort to the Escanaba Airport. From there, it's off to one of 3 airports in the D.C. area. Today's flight brought us to Baltimore, where the veterans received a warm Maryland welcome. Boarded 3 waiting buses for the intense ride to Washington, D.C., complete with police escort. The first stop, the World War II Memorial.
It's my honor. It's my honor.
Take your time.
Hey, you'll have to shoot that one.
Hi, how are you?
Thank you.
Good to see you. Good to see you guys.
Now it's going out to a package goes to the house. Yeah.
How'd you like to ride?
Today's show is brought to you in part by Rapid River Knife Works, home of Michigan's largest custom knife factory showroom.
I was in 3 years, from 53 to 56, and I spent a year in Korea. 1954, I was in Korea, and then I was stationed at Quantico, Virginia before I got out. I've been putting it off, this honor guard trip, for a couple of years. Friends of mine that have gone, veterans that really enjoyed it, and finally this year I decided I was going to go. Probably best thing I ever did, make that decision to go, because I really enjoyed it. It was even more than I anticipated it was going to be.
Well, it's been really cool. We get to see the Washington sites and some of the memorials that similar soldiers have fallen, and it's been great. It's good always to remember those who have fallen for our country and for me. It's just been a great day, beautiful weather, and beautiful people.
It's a great honor to escort a soldier. I always wanted to volunteer, so here I am today.
I was a crew chief on a helicopter, and then we were stationed in Uijeongbu in Korea. We hauled the wounded out, and we also hauled bunkers in, and we picked up soldiers. That's what we did. We had missions, and then we were on prisoner exchange. We did a lot of missions, over there. We were at the peace talks in Panmunjom. And we were there for a week. I was there for a week. You do so many missions, and then you get an R&R, and then you go to the peace talks and have a rest. And so we flew Secretary Dulles. I flew General Dean. He was in my ship. I was a crew chief on H-19, and that's what I did. They offered me money to stay in. They offered me $15,000 to stay. I think it was $10,000 or $15,000 to stay in, but I wouldn't stay in. I was married, had a child, and so I wanted to come home. That's why I got out.
From the moment we walked into the door at the motel, it was just phenomenal. They greeted you, they held you in a certain order. Everything was just flowed like clockwork. These people were just wonderful. I appreciate everything that these people do. We forget about veterans usually just on Memorial Day. It's ongoing because we still have servicemen serving overseas right now. They're not forgotten because their families are still serving also because their loved ones are overseas. And this has just brought a lot of closure for a lot of veterans from Vietnam, Korea, World War II. And I'm just so grateful for this kind of people to put this kind of an organization together. I'm just humbled, just very humbled.
This was really nice to come to all the monuments and things, the way they lay it out. But after looking at the traffic, I'm glad I live in the UP. I used to live by Detroit, but I'm glad I live in the UP now with less traffic and that. But yeah, it was really an amazing trip. Yeah.
The honor flight was great. Great experience. Some of the memorials I've seen before, but have not spent as much time at them as we have on this trip. So it was very special. Gets emotional sometimes when you think about the people who made this all possible, and people who fought for their country and didn't come back. So it's special. Glad I did it. I needed to get pushed into it, but once I was, it worked out perfectly. And then having my son Tim with me was extra special also.
Amongst all the other veterans there was a lot of Vietnam veterans, and I think what they had there was this sense of, hey, it's okay. We're okay to be Vietnam veterans. We got to the wall to see our soldiers, our fallen soldiers, and especially we got to have closure for one of our fallen that was MIA since July 4th of 1966, Sergeant Marshall Kipana. And we did bring some remembrances to leave at the wall from his classmates. We left them there along with a picture of his flight class that he graduated from and his airplane that he went down in. He went down in Laos off the Vietnam border, Laotian border, in Aptu province, in the highlands, in the mountain area. They couldn't go in because there was too much enemy activity going on in that area, so the recovery process was just cut off. It was too dangerous. But then, April 6th of this year, we finally found Marshall. Marshall is going to come home to the United States of America.
.906 Outdoors is brought to you in part by Blades Bait and Tackle, your year-round connection to fishing Badenoch.
It was just fantastic. It was a special day all the way around. It really makes goose pimples come. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. The first time I was offered to go, I didn't go, but I certainly am glad that I went now, because I'll tell you, it's something you'll never forget. What impressed me the most was these young kids coming to you and shake your hand and thank you for your service. It was just fantastic. It really was. I couldn't believe what I was seeing, you know. It really was something to see. There's Korean War, there's Vietnam War, there's World War II vets. They're all the same, you know. They all went through the same things, you know. You had to be away from home, and that, you know, it made a difference in your life, you know. It was wonderful talking to them. They all said the same thing, you know. It's unbelievable what they're doing for us, you know. You never see that, and otherwise you'd never get to know that. They do that kind of stuff. It was perfect. It was perfect. I mean, they took care of you. They really did.
Today was a great day. I thoroughly enjoyed the World War II Memorial the most. It was the most interesting to me, and the lineup of children as we were entering that wanted to shake our hand, that was very emotional for me.
Today was perfect. It was very interesting the whole day. No matter which one we went to, it really was interesting. I'd like to tell everyone, all the other veterans, to make this trip. It really is good.
The other thing that stood out was the reception that we got when the plane flew in. It was unbelievable, the amount of people were there, you know. Like I mentioned earlier, the young people that were there to welcome the veterans back. It was just unbelievable. The people that came up and said thank you for your service, and you know, shook your hand. Just, you know, I was thinking, boy, all these 3 busloads of veterans and all the recognition we're getting, you know, and a lot of comments were made. Just guys couldn't believe it, what they were doing, you know. Well, the whole program and what they're doing for the veterans, and I just appreciate the work that Scott and the committee do here. It's unbelievable, you know. I think there was 79 veterans on this honor flight. Well, I think it's great too. My son was my guardian, and he's not a veteran, so I think he really was impressed by what the committee here and everything was doing for the veterans. Everything was great. I thought it was just great.
It was wonderful. And when I felt the wall, which I basically came here for, that wall is still alive. Because the guys that died for our freedom over there are still alive in that wall. Right now I got a chill going through my body, that's unreal. But this whole honor flight is just something that most people wouldn't even think of, how great it is, and you see everything, and the government actually spent a lot of money to prove to us that we are worth, that we died for, it wasn't a cause for no reason. I met people from all over the country. It was just a wonderful day. I thought I'd be tired halfway through, but I'm still raring to go. And it was fantastic. The whole thing was fantastic.
The day went remarkably well. Well organized, beautifully planned. The escort through town was fantastic. We watched cars flying off the road in all directions. Loved it. And the memorial's very, very impressive, very touching.
Closure was brought to me as far as being a Vietnam vet. 6 years ago, you wouldn't see me wearing this shirt or a hat that said Vietnam. As we all know, coming home from Vietnam was not a very pleasant experience. When I mustered out of Fort Lewis, Washington, we flew out of the Seattle Tacoma Airport, and we went through the process of eggs being thrown at us, people spitting at us and hollering at us. It wasn't a very good welcome home. But yesterday, I got that welcome home that I waited for 50 years. 50 years I waited to be welcomed home, and boy, I'll tell you, the people from the honor flight and the people from Escanaba, they did it. They did it right to the top, to the max. It was one of the nicest things that's happened in my life, was to come home finally to somebody that appreciated the Vietnam veterans.
.906 Outdoors is brought to you in part by Christ, your Northwoods neighborhood store.
I am breathing, my eyes got a wire, and I can't release them.
When you come into the area by Arlington Cemetery, and then when you leave, all the markers and so forth on the side of the hill there, it's just unbelievable. And I think the figure they gave was like over 400,000 veterans are buried there.
Will you throw her off tall buildings while you wrap me in cotton flowers?
Then, of course, all the letters that I got in the mail, they give you a package of mail, on the plane, and read those letters, it was tough. It was tough.
I had no idea what was in that envelope, and I started to read it. And as we were coming in to Escanaba, I had to stop. I couldn't read anymore. I teared up so bad. It was so emotional. Just that people in my family, amongst everybody else that was involved in this, have so much respect for our veterans, and it's respect that people kind of shove off to the side with all this political stuff that's going on in the world, and that they have to stop and think, why can I do this? Why can I live here? Why can I do this? Why can I go to this place and buy a cup of coffee? Why can the women of the United States be free to drive, to go to school, to go to college, and the women across these other nations are subservient and can't get these freedoms? You know why? Because the 1%ers, the veterans, the active duty military that fighting now for our country and across and overseas in the Middle East, trying to put this whole world together so we have peace. You can't find peace without war. It's sad, but that's one thing, you just can't find peace without war.
Let's fall into the glowing bridge. I'll take what you give me.
I thought it was great from what we went through today. A lot of history, and great to see all the different things that are going on for the veterans.
The best memorial they had there is the wall, Vietnam Wall, because I spent 2 hitches in Vietnam, and to me that's personal.
Today was just a very exciting day. I'm really appreciative of this whole group that put this on for us. The whole day was just really fast and very exciting. Had a very good time.
Awesome. Didn't really plan on doing this, but man, I'm glad I did. So much to see, holy cow. It's beautiful.
It was a great day, it was a tiring day, and I'll be glad to be home. Great day, great day.
When you got off the plane, it was unbelievable. The people that were there, unbelievable. And of course, the surprise of my life, my sister was there. That really floored me. It was really something to see her there.
Flight, the people, the welcome home, everything was just really a great experience. It's an experience that you gotta have so you can start this new chapter in your life and feel rejuvenated and respected and get this respect that you didn't have back in the 60s and 70s. It's time for us to be recognized.
When you think of all the veterans that have died in the past, and it's just solemn and emotional experience to go through. We want to remember those that gave the ultimate sacrifice, in the service of their country.
Thank you all for all you've done for us. It's just been great. The honor flight, the people of Escanaba, it's just unreal.
My friends told me I gotta go. That's what made me go. And my friends, don't make the mistake. You gotta go. You gotta go. Because it's something. It's just beautiful. I'll never forget it. Guarantee you that.
Until you have to pick up the pieces.
Every veteran has a story to tell. A story of someone's courage, someone's sacrifice, the horrors of war, of a friend they lost. Their task is to tell that story. Ours is to never forget it.